What is going on, world? What's up, everyone? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new Starcraft 2 video. This one is between two players on the WCS Pro circuit. Spawning here in the top left-hand corner of Acid Plant LE, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. He's very well known, one of the best Protoss players currently on the planet. His name is none other than ShoWTimE. And his opponent, spawning in the cross position, playing with the red Zerg pieces. He's not as well known as his opponent, but nonetheless is still a force to be reckoned with the Zerg pieces. His name is Namshar. So guys and girls, I'm really excited about this series, and this game in particular that was played at the WCS in Leipzig. It was the round of 16, so of course, if you win, you know, enough games, obviously, which with a best of 5 you win 3 games, you move on to, of course, the quarterfinals, then a chance to possibly go into the semifinals, and then the grand finals, so on and so forth. So every game in this series does matter drastically in the grand scheme of things, but I'm very excited to see what we're gonna, you know, what this series is all gonna entail in this game in particular. We do have, of course, one of my favorite Protoss players playing today, who I absolutely love watching, in ShoWTimE. This guy is an absolute monster. I think he's got some of the best Phoenix play in the world, if not the best in the world. And he's just a great Protoss player. He really is, and I really do enjoy watching him. Namshar, of course, as I said, not quite as well known as ShoWTimE, but he's been in the Starcraft 2 Pro scene for a while, and, you know, I think that he's going to give ShoWTimE a real run for his money. I just do, simply because of the nature of the kind of style that Namshar plays with, and we'll talk about that here shortly. But while that's all being said and done, it looks like ShoWTimE, as well as Namshar, are going for very standard builds here. You're going to see the gateway into the into the cybernetics core, and then of course the natural nexus out of ShoWTimE, and then we're going to see the Stargate in his main base location go down as well. Namshar is going for the standard hatch gas pool opener. He's also going to get that spawning pool. Of course, it's going to start with the metabolic boost upgrade, which is of course the Zergling speed upgrade. Is going to be researched right now. Warp Gate is being researched, which is the most standard upgrade for a Protoss player. We're going to start seeing adepts coming out of that gateway. I'll be interested to see out of the Stargate, are we going to start getting some Phoenix play very early on? I would love to see that out of ShoWTimE. Namshar is going ahead and getting his third hatchery out as we pass that 3-minute mark. The adept comes in, shading up just to see if he can get any kind of scouting information. He's going to get some decent scouting information there. He's going to see that, of course, metabolic boost is being researched right now. And like I said, I think we might be in for, by the looks of it, possibly, just possibly, a macro-focused game right here and right now already. It kind of looks like Namshar, you know, going for that third base. He's obviously not going to get extremely aggressive as of yet. There might be, of course, a timing push. We have a second gateway going down for ShoWTimE, and we are going to see the Phoenix coming out of that Stargate. So I would like to see maybe he goes for more and more Phoenixes. That would be really cool. A possibility, though, that he's going to go for the Oracles. You see that, you know, the 2 Phoenixes with the Oracle, so that that Phoenix or Phoenixes can pick up the Queen in one of the bases, and then kind of, you know, those Oracles have all day, it feels like, to really just snipe some of those drones. That said, though, we are going to see none other than the lair coming in for Namshar. So we're going to start seeing those higher tier lair units here shortly. We're also going to go ahead and see the robotics facility going down for ShoWTimE, as well as the Twilight Council. He's also going for 4 more gateways right now. So I'm wondering if we're going to see a timing push here at some point or another for ShoWTimE. It's starting to feel like he may be planning on getting a little bit aggressive at some point or another here shortly. It looks like charge is being researched out of the Twilight Council, as well as the Templar Archives has gone down. So ShoWTimE is kind of showing us his tech of choice question is how is Namshar going to respond to this when and if he finds out about it? Until it's obviously too late. Namshar, the lair has finished, so now it'll be interesting to see exactly what he decides to do. He does go for the Hydralisk Den as well as one evolution chamber, so he's probably going to start getting those +1 upgrades for the ground-based units here shortly. We are also going to see the Hydralisk upgrade coming in very immediately after the Hydralisk Den finishes up. So we are going to see, it looks like both players are giving each other a decent amount of respect. We're going to see some Zerglings starting to run across the map. They do back off, and we are seeing a decent amount of a couple of Adepts, and then followed by some Zealots. Charge is going to be finishing up, being researched in less than 10 seconds. So it looks to be that there is going to be a timing push here, and he is starting to move out. And I wonder, Namshar is going to have to get his defenses in order, because this could do some damage if he's not careful. ShoWTimE is starting to move on to creep, and this always makes me a little bit nervous when you go really far onto creep like this. But of course, he's going to start taking out some of those creep tumors, and now he is going after a bunch of these units. That is, of course, the Queens as well as the Hydralisk. There looks like there was a pause in the game, but nonetheless, Muscular Augments is going to be finished up in less than 10 seconds for Namshar, and that's going to help out with these Hydralisks drastically. The drones are being pulled off the line. That's always a really bad sign, but you do not want to overextend if you are ShoWTimE. It does look like more and more units are going to start popping out for Namshar. That said, it looks like somehow, some way, he is able to hold on. Going to try to get this around on a couple of those Archons. So, in the grand scheme of things, not a ton of damage was dealt there by ShoWTimE. He is going to have to go back home, kind of reinforce his army. Storm is being researched out of the Templar Archives right now. And so, the question that remains, it looks like he's starting to put up his defenses. He's got that stasis ward at the top of the ramp, because there is, of course, going to be a counterattack coming in by Namshar. So, beautiful play. Looks like, a lot of those Zerglings are going to get hit by the stasis ward. Beautiful play by ShoWTimE. Absolutely brilliant play at this point. Does look like those Hydralisks are going to start moving in, though. They're going to probably start trying to do a little bit of some damage. They're going to go after that Cybernetics core. Looks like he is not really afraid, at least at this point. Psionic Storm is going to be finishing up in less than 10 seconds now. Gets one gateway for his troubles, but not a ton of damage dealt as of yet. So I love the counterattack, though, by Namshar. Trying to stay somewhat aggressive. That fourth hatchery is now down. And we're starting to see really what both of our players are planning on doing. Namshar has 4 Overlord cocoons for them Dropper Lord play, and I love it. I like the idea here. I wonder if he's going to drop possibly at that third base, maybe even the main base location where all the high tier tech structures are. I would love to see that, but nonetheless, I've got to say, I kind of like the creativity or the change up for Namshar. He wants to get a little bit aggressive. Nematized Carapace is going to be finishing up here in a few seconds for him. Now, this Observer, I wonder if this Observer is going to catch essentially everything that's going on. We are going to have some drop play by our Protoss player. He's got, of course, a War Prism filled with some Zealots. He's going to go straight for the main base location. Not a lot of defenses here, at least at this point. Those Dropper Lords are going to start moving out. Now, the question, though, that remains is this going to do enough damage, to say the least? It does look as if there are of course going to be some photon cannons going up, so ShoWTimE knows that this is coming. He knows that this is coming, at least at this point. That fourth base is going to be finishing up here very, very shortly. Now, not a lot of defenses, though, in the main base. This is a little bit scary. Now, this drop, though, is a beautiful counterattack on the opposite side of the map. Looks like there's a lot of Zealots here, but there's going to be a drop on the opposite side of the map as well. So the drop play is coming in for both of these players. I absolutely love the creativity by both of our opponents right now. This is going to be absolutely huge. Beautiful mass recall back home is going to really save ShoWTimE, at least at this point. Looks like he's going to try to get a lot of those Dropper Lords. Oh, Beautiful play by both of our players. The defense was absolutely on point. Now, Namshar is still a little bit ahead as far as the supply count is concerned. But I love how both our players are playing each other very, very well. Absolutely beautiful play, at least at this point. The dropper lords do drop those Hydralisks to essentially die. Centrifugal Hooks is finished up now, and it looks like Namshar once again wants to get aggressive, and I love this. He is planning on getting somewhat aggressive. The question is, though, there is a lot of high-tier units by ShoWTimE. He, of course, has the High Templars, Archons, and Immortals mixed in with some Sentries as well as some Zealots. So this is going to be very scary to move into, but I feel the longer you give ShoWTimE, the better his chances are of obtaining victory. It does look like Namshar has decided to go after that third base location. Got to be very careful of those Banelings. The Baneling hits do not really connect at all, and beautifully enough, ShoWTimE absolutely devastating Namshar with those storms. Beautiful storms, to say the least. And these Archons take absolutely so many Baneling hits. Beautiful play here. Missile attacks level 2 is going to be finishing up in less than 5 seconds for Namshar. He's also going on that 5th base. The longer this game goes, ShoWTimE's going to be in a great spot. He's on 4 bases. He's got such a high tier army that could be taken out very quickly by some of the Zerg units. But I'm wondering at this point, our Zerg player, I would love to see Namshar go for the Hive very soon, because he's going to need it, especially, you know, if he wants to start getting some of those really high tier Hive units. I think would really help out a lot. Now these Stasis Wards are just in beautiful, beautiful positions. 2 of them are just going to absolutely shut down this attack very quickly, and it looks like Namshar, he is actually planning on hitting at multiple places at once. He's going after this 3rd base location as well, but those storms are absolutely beautiful. Such damage being dealt by ShoWTimE. The defense is absolutely on point. Beautiful play here by ShoWTimE. More dropper lords are going to start. Look like they're going to probably go towards that main base location once again. But the defense has been absolutely incredible by ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE is absolutely playing this beautifully. And it does look once again that he's going to have a beautiful amount of units that are going to be here for the defense before really much damage is really going to be dealt. I love the play, though, by Namshar. He's trying to hit at multiple angles at once, doing as much damage as possible. He takes out the Forge. Beautiful pickup there. He is going to continue going after a lot of those tech structures. Oh, the storms hitting those overlords. Absolutely doing so much destruction. Now you gotta be very careful. You do not want to lose a lot of those High Templar. Does look like he did, though. ShoWTimE did lose some of those High Templar to some of those Banelings. So that was a beautiful pickup. Now here we go. The Lair is going to be coming in, as well as the Spire. I like this change up here by Namshar. Namshar is playing this really well as well. I actually really do like how Namshar is playing this. He's got his 5 bases now. And so right at this point, I mean, who's really in the lead? I mean, we're approaching 14 minutes into this game. We're approaching that late game. And I gotta say, it's looking relatively even. It's felt like there's been moments that ShoWTimE's really showed incredible amounts of defense, but Namshar just keeps on putting on consistent pressure at multiple angles at once. And I want you guys to know that it is difficult to do what Namshar is doing. Controlling multiple armies at once is very, very difficult, to say the least. So here we go. Keeping that probe alive, absolutely just so clutch there by ShoWTimE. Keeping that probe alive, one more hit, it would have been done by that Zergling. So beautiful play there. But I gotta say that at this point in the game, it does look like ShoWTimE is going to try to catch this army a little bit off guard. Beautiful play here by ShoWTimE, absolutely trying to surround this army, but at the same time, Namshar is trying to do some damage on the opposite side of the map. It just doesn't look like it's quite enough. Beautiful play here by ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE is just absolutely, his defense is incredible, splitting up his armies to deal with all this aggression by Namshar. Now the question is, Namshar now, we're seeing 8 Corruptors on that production tab. So I gotta say, we're probably going to be seeing Broodlords because that Greater Spire is coming in. So the Broodlord switch is actually, I think, could be huge. Ground Weapons level 1 is going to be finishing up just now in less than 5 seconds. And so he's a little bit behind on the upgrades, I gotta say. And here we go. Beautiful play. Beautiful Storms once again doing significant amounts of damage. A couple of those. High Templar doing a lot of damage. But I gotta say, the upgrades are starting to concern me for ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE does not quite have the upgrades as Namshar does right now. Adrenal Glands is now finished up, so the Zerglings are going to do extreme amounts of damage. Melee attacks level 2's finishing up as well. But it does look like ShoWTimE is hitting at multiple angles at once. He wants to do as much damage as possible. He's going after that 3rd base location. It's going to probably go down very soon. Beautiful force fields just blocking off that army. And just like that, that 3rd base is now down. But here we go. We are going to see a surround coming in by our Zerg player on this small army. And I wonder, since now we are going to start seeing the Broodlords, and they are out, and they are going to start doing a lot of damage if ShoWTimE is not careful. So I wonder what the follow-up here for ShoWTimE is going to be. It looks like it's going to be carriers. Hopefully, I'm sure ShoWTimE is planning on this being a good counterattack, obviously, or a good counter to the Broodlords, because there's a lot of Broodlords. The thing is, though, is that you got the Mothership out. You also are going to have the Tempest coming out with those carriers. So that could do a lot of damage, possibly. Possibly a decent, amount of damage if Namshar is not careful. So I think it's all going to come down to just the way that both these players decide to approach this. Because right now, these Immortals, lots of Immortals, of course the Broodlords are starting to move in. They want to start, go an eye for an eye here and try to take out this 5th base location down here. And here we go. Now we are going to see, of course, the beautiful Mothership is going to start really helping out with a lot of these units. But the Broodlords are doing a lot of damage to that 5th base location. Looks like it's going to go down here very quickly. Beautiful play by Namshar. Now the question is he going to overextend just a little bit here? It looks like he's now deciding to go after the 3rd base of our Protoss player. Here we go. The Storms are on point, though, and there's not very many Corruptors. Actually, no Corruptors here, so a lot of these Broodlords are just going to be absolutely targeted. But at the same time, there's just a little bit too much Zerg here somehow, some way. Now the question is he going to overextend? It looks like this might be a little bit of an overextension. I don't know if I like this by Namshar. It looks like he's getting a little bit too far onto ShoWTimE's neck of the woods, and a lot of these Broodlords are now going down. Namshar's supply is starting to plummet. I don't know if I like that he was just a little bit of too much of an overextension here. And now Namshar is going to have to run home. And the question remains, though, is there going to be enough? Because now there are 3 carriers. The Mothership has not been damaged whatsoever, and you have a bunch of Tempests out as well, or 3 Tempests to be exact, with more and more carriers coming in right now. So now the 5th base is going to be under attack. I don't know how much longer Namshar is going to be able to hold on. He's got, of course, a lot of these Hydras are going to be on that production tab, but oh, the drones are getting absolutely decimated by ShoWTimE. Beautiful play by ShoWTimE, and it feels like just a little bit of an overextension by our Zerg player costed him this game. And just like that, though, the absolute artillery, or I should say, the air-based unit composition of ShoWTimE absolutely decimated Namshar. And GG is called, and ShoWTimE wins this game against Namshar in absolute dominating fashion near the end of this game. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between ShoWTimE and Namshar. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.